as they mediate talks between the two main teachers' unions and the government. This morning, the Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers presented their demands and concerns to the judge, who will then decide whether to rule the strike as illegal or not. Now, the case was initiated by the Teacher Service Commission last week, and we're now joined on phone by Asha Mwilu. Asha, this particular ruling is being described as a do or die for the teachers. What impact will it have if the court rules in the teachers' favor?
Well, it is not much about the impact, but it's much about whether the government and the two teachers' unions will finally come to a middle point, that they'll agree on what percentages they will be giving the teachers. Remember, last week, the talks that we had, about 3 of them collapsing between the Teacher Service Commission, the Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Education, and the two teachers' unions. It was all about whether they will increase the payment on the basic pay for teachers, or they will give them allowances. So by early morning today, it is the court was full. Justice Ndumanjeru was here, taking the 3 sides, or rather, it's more of like 2 sides. Hearing what their arguments are, and the court right now is playing more of an arbitration role, because what teachers want is that a pay increment of between 80% and 150%. But the government says there's no money to pay the teachers. So it will be really interesting to see whether Justice Ndumanjeru can bring these 2 conflicting sides into a middle ground.
All right. Now, Asha Mwilu, this is the second time that we're seeing these top officials from both KNUT and KUPPET together with the TSC coming together. I'm just curious to know what the mood was like in the courtroom this morning.
It's really interesting, Edith, because by 9:30 a.m., all sides were seated in court waiting for the judge to come in. There was a lot of chatter, and it was really interesting to see the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the Labor Ministry, Kazungu Kambi, coming in and, just greeting the teachers. They seem to be in really good books with him. They actually were very friendly with him. So the court case, the mood was uplifting, all sides looking like maybe they want to come to an agreement by the end of the day. But you know how these talks are, Edith. Last year, there were about 6 or 7 such talks. And at the end of this, the teachers signed a return to work formula. And both KNUT and KUPPET this time around are very clear that they're not going to sign a return to work formula. What they want is a CBA. Because, it is a CBA is only signed around 4 to 5, between 4 and 5 years. So that means that this is very critical for the teachers. If they sign a CBA, they're going to get stuck with those salaries for the next 4 or 5 years. Edith.
All right, Asha Mwilu, very quickly, could you please let us know what time a determination is expected?
Well, what happened, Edith, is that Justice Ndumanjeru came in and called for a closed-door meeting so that all sides can put their numbers on the table. So from around 10:30 a.m. up until now, we've been locked outside the room. They allowed media houses and journalists to go in and take a few pictures of their deliberations. But from that, we've been outside, just peeping in from a little window on the door, on the courtroom door, and looking at who's talking. Right now, I left Akelo Misori, who is the KUPPET Secretary General, giving his views on the matter. So it's actually a talk that can go either way. Either by the end of the day, we'll have a conclusion of what will happen with the teachers' strike and whether the teachers will go back to class, or the arbitration process can also collapse. So we don't even know whether the judge will give a ruling on this matter today. So it's all fingers crossed for everyone in this situation, hoping that by the end of today, students will at least know that they can go back to school tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much, Asha Mwilu.